エッシュのオルンミラ。それはペルセウス宇宙の帝王エッシュが作った人工惑星の伏魔殿である。エッシュはここをベースに密かに銀河系宇宙を狙い、我らがプリンセスシンディを連れ去った。戦いの時は来た。我らがヒーローダン・デイビス、エッシュのオルンミラに向かう。
In 1984, a game called Esches Aurunmilla appeared in the arcades. Published by Funai, it was one of the many Dragon's Lair type games to come out in the 80s. The version I'm playing for this review is the Pioneer PX7 port. The Pioneer PX7 being a model of the MSX1 that attaches to a Laserdisc player. It is being emulated though, so if there's any difference between this and the actual hardware, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Esches Aurunmilla is a tale of two universes, Perseus and Orion. Perseus is ruled by the black-hearted Emperor Esh. He sent his second-in-command, the enigmatic and wicked Oroshala, to launch a surprise attack on Orion's shuttle base and took the Princess Cindy prisoner. Cindy is being held somewhere deep in Esh's base of operations, the artificial planet Aurunmilla. You, as the hero Don Davis, must infiltrate Aurunmilla and get her back. A task much, much easier said than done. It's the classic setup of going through a variety of dangerous and fully animated situations, pressing the right button at the right times to keep the action going. Failure at any point will make the villain mock you and will make you die in some wacky fashion. You only get a few tries to complete your mission, and if you die too many times, it's game over, as to be expected. But in this port, you can continue as many times as you want, so as long as you're willing to keep throwing yourself at the problem, you will eventually overcome it. The first thing you're presented with upon starting this game is a difficulty selection between low, middle, and high. As far as I could tell, all this does is change how long and how clearly the hint asterisk appears for every time you have to make a move. I will get into what the hint asterisk is in just a moment. So, most games of this type will have parts of the environment and objects and such flash to indicate the general direction or action that you should be taking. Esches Aurunmilla is a bit different. It does kind of do this, but it does so with asterisks that it superimposes over the footage as you're playing. Said asterisks should never be taken as direct instructions because they are often vague. Sometimes they are not even remotely in the direction that you should be pushing, and instead are kind of trying to hit you in a different way. And sometimes the logic behind them changes from stage to stage. In the tutorial section, you will learn that this game has diagonal inputs, which is actually kind of unusual for the genre.
Oh! Cindy!
One of the quirks of this game is that the action button is not only used for attacking, but also for jumping. This can lead to some kind of confusing bits, like in this stage where he's obviously jumping around, but not all of these inputs are the buttons, some of them are directions. Another thing you'll notice about this game is that a lot of its stages have background music. And it's not that other Laserdisc games didn't have background music, it just tended to be more subdued, or it would only show up in select moments. Aurunmilla doesn't care. It wants you to hear its music, and I want you to hear its music because it's really good. A lot of inputs are pretty lenient on the timing, but some make you be more precise. This often leads to variable death scenes depending on exactly how you failed in a section. This is doing the wrong input entirely, or missing it. And this is doing the correct input, but at the wrong time. On the complete opposite end, we have parts that are so lenient that you can straight up get away with just mashing the action button for several seconds. It's kind of ridiculous. Another trick this game likes to pull sometimes, not a whole lot, but sometimes, is changing the camera perspective right before the part where you're supposed to make a move, so it fucks you up. That's such bullshit. Partway through his journey, Don meets somebody who isn't a monster or a robot for once, and she actually seems pretty nice on top of that. That is, until Don's Butterfingers save him from the reality that he actually just met Urashara. You do actually need to do something here, as Don will gladly drink the poison if you don't intervene. Stage 8 is proof that Jesus died in vain. Fuck this level. It is so ridiculously hard for no reason, and I'm not even sure if it's on purpose. So Don gets accosted by these bat things, and he's gotta slice them away, but the input windows to slice them are tinier than my dick. So it feels like even if you time it perfectly, sometimes it just doesn't do it. Sometimes it just doesn't do it. It feels inconsistent, even though I don't think anything's actually changing. It's just really, really hard for some reason. I like this part. It's actually pretty funny to me. There's just this random asshole trapdoor on the floor here, and the way that Don avoids it is pretty much by accident, because he takes a step backward to draw his sword. If he doesn't even know that he's doing it, it's just kind of stupid, and I like that. Late in the game, they decide to try their hand at pulling off a boss fight, as in like a full-on, legit boss fight, and it's animated very well, actually. It's a very nicely choreographed fight between Don and Urashima here, but gameplay-wise, it's just mashing the attack button for 95% of it, except for the one part where it makes you hit right because they want to throw a curveball. And it's kind of a shame because I don't think they meant for you to mash through this, since they have like these clever spots for the asterisks. Like it shows up in Dawn's eyes, it flashes off of the sword and all of that stuff. It's like, it's very cute. It's all very cute, but it doesn't really make for a very engaging gameplay experience. The real threat around here is this giant eyeball looming over Cindy as she showcases how this game's visual comedy can work.
シンディ、よし、力を見せたるぞ。頑張って。
As Don nearly kills himself saving Cindy from this evil hand, the game's namesake finally appears, or rather the first half of it.
よく来たな、ダン・デイビス。私が手をよし。バイバイ。もう許そう。
This is where shit really hits the fan. The entirety of Aurunmilla is on high alert, and possibly also falling apart, and Esh himself is hot on your tail. Think of this stage as the Battletoads turbo tunnel of Esh's Aurunmilla. As a side note, I like this shot of Don and Cindy right before you enter this difficult section with these wildly spinning circles. It feels like that shot of them is kind of like communicating, okay, full concentration, this is the real shit now. I don't know, it just feels cool. Esh catches up to them and briefly vores them, but they escape and end up near a docking bay, which they can use as their ticket out of here. But unfortunately, the docking bay is very well defended, and by that I mean extremely well defended. In fact, this part is super difficult, and it's not obvious just from seeing it. The timing that you need to fully avoid these lasers is so insanely precise that you cannot react to it. You just need to have played it enough times to get an instinct for exactly when to press the button. It's actually insane. But once you've passed the lasers, Esh's final stand against you isn't the most complicated or difficult to deal with, but it is very tense, since if you fail at any point here, you have to do the lasers again. But you just gotta hold out a little bit longer and blast away that door and leave Esh and his entire Aurunmilla in the dust.
シンディ、僕ちゃん幸せ。
And with one last passionate, tender moment to send off the game, it unceremoniously resets because it's an arcade game and it wants to loop so that you can get more score and shit. But yeah, that's the end of the game. So what was the point of any of this? Why did I make this video? Who's gonna be playing Esch's Aurunmilla in 2026 and beyond? I don't know. I just wanted to make a video, and I figured this was obscure enough that it would be something different. And I kinda like this game in spite of it being objectively kind of terrible to play. So that's also something. Thank you for watching.